What's the challenge with a guy like Winfield?
Well, he's really good in the run and pass. He's a very instinctual player, covers well, and he's really physical in the run game. So I think he's a complete safety, one of the better ones we've seen this year. So you just got to make sure you account for him wherever he's at. You always have to, have an awareness for him. They'll pressure him a lot. So, yeah, he's a heck of a player.
I'm trying to rack my brain. I've seen plenty of offensive linemen play with clubs. I don't know if I've seen many running backs play with a broken thumb. How do you go about figuring out whether it's realistic for AJ to play with that?
Yeah, I think that's one thing the trainers and him are trying to figure out every day. So kind of just see how it goes. And if he can go, he's one of those guys. If he can play, he's going to play. So we're just kind of taking it day by day right now and just seeing where he's at.
Is there not a pretty significant risk of your ball security not being very good?
Absolutely. I think that's one thing he's got to take into account. We all have to take into account is that right there, for sure.
Can a guy carry with one hand?
Yeah.
The whole way?
Yeah. It makes it harder to catch the ball and things like that, but, if you limit things that he can do, yeah, you can get that done.
What went wrong with the passing game on Monday? I mean, you guys have been.
Yeah, we just weren't in sync, to start the game off. I thought as the game went on, we kind of got in the groove, but too little too late, I guess. But, yeah, we just got to start faster with that, whether it's wideouts running routes, protection issues, or quarterbacks mechanics, all that stuff takes into account. So it was a little bit of everybody. So we just got to start quicker and make sure we're all on the same page.
Was the interception, was that a miss on the throw, or was that a bad decision?
Well, a little bit of both. I think, based off the safety's leverage, probably should have gone somewhere else with the ball. He wanted to make a play and just underthrew it. So it's one of those deals that he's going to learn from it. And I think eventually it'll, make him a better QB. So, yeah, we just got to move on and learn from our mistakes and play the next game, play the next play, all that stuff.
I asked Matt this earlier. I was talking to Jordan, and I talked about how, game didn't go very well for most of the night, but then the last 3 drives, you got you guys in scoring position. He's like, yeah, well, we weren't good enough in the red zone.
Yeah.
Is he pretty self-critical dude? What is
Yeah,
your kind of
I
observation?
think absolutely. And I think that's one thing about him that, in the long run, he's going to be a pretty good player because he can self-coach. He's got intelligence. He's not one of those guys that's sensitive about being coached or, when he makes a mistake, he owns it. And I think all really good players are like that, where they have that awareness of their performance and they understand, the things they have to do to improve. So, that's one thing about him. He knows the standard, and he knows, when he's playing well, what it looks like. So, he'll get that fixed for sure.
Is Kenyon Drake ready to go if need be?
Yeah, Katie's looked really good in practice. So he came in on a week's notice, and we had him dressed last week. But I feel very comfortable this week if he's got to go in there and play a significant role for us. I'm excited to see him out there and see what he can do.
So it's one of those deals where he just learns the game plan. Did you have a package of X number of plays? How do you?
Yeah, you kind of, like you said, give him a little bit. But a guy with his experience, it's just learning the terminology, and once he can hear all that, kind of can just use his old reps and his past experiences and kind of just figure out the language. And he seems to have done that pretty well. So, yeah, I think he should be ready to go if we need him.
So those Jaden Reed kind of gadget plays, if you want to call them that, they've done some good things for you. Obviously, it got you a touchdown. Is there a shelf life on those, though, where the other defense starts to sniff?
Yeah, definitely. You always have to just make sure you're doing plays off plays and, make sure you're having passes off the runs and just all that stuff that you got to kind of keep it fresh and just make sure you have things so they can't always say, oh, he's lined over here or he's in this position. Look out for this. So you just kind of got to move him around as much as you can, mix up the run and the pass, play actions, all that stuff. So, that's one very fun thing about having guys like him. It just allows you to be creative and, he's an explosive guy. So when you can get him the ball, more often than not, some pretty cool things are going to happen.
I know jet sweeps aren't exactly trick plays or gadget plays, I get that, but like the double reverses and stuff like that, back when you were playing, I mean, I have a hard time picturing McCarthy calling much of this stuff. Is this just something that has, because of all the different offshoots of all the different things you guys run, you can do that more often, or a coach is more willing to do it, or what?
I think a little bit of both. You know, just trying to be aggressive, trying to create explosive plays, create offense. You know, like let's say your pass game's not going great and you want to maybe get a big play somewhere, you can go to something like that. So it's just trying to feel how the game's going and then, you know, work in some gadget plays or whatever it is. And maybe you have a tendency, these guys always play things a certain way. So you like exposing that or whatever. But yeah, it's a little combination of everything. But I think we're always going to try and be as aggressive as possible and just try and be as explosive as we can.
What's made their, speaking of Tampa, what's made their red zone and third down defense so good?
Yeah, they're a physical defense, and their linebackers have really good range. You know, David and White are excellent players. So their front, you know, they set the edge. They are big and physical inside, and their DBs are really physical on the edge. So, you know, it kind of just caps everything in there, and those linebackers can really cover ground and make plays. And yeah, they have some really talented players, and their scheme's tough. They do a lot of double coverage and things like that when they're playing coverage. So it's going to be a challenge for us. It's hard to run the ball on them down there. So again, that's another challenge. It's going to be something we have to overcome to make sure we can score some touchdowns for sure.
Instead of on a short week, does that make it harder or impact how a young team bounces back, young quarterback who maybe hasn't been through this before, or no?
Well, you know, like the first Detroit game, didn't play great. Then the second Detroit game we did. Those are our 2 short weeks. So we'll see. You know, with these guys, you're still kind of learning how they are. But I like the look in their eye. I like how we've practiced. I like the intent and the focus that we've had. We've had, you know, 2 really good days. So, yeah, I think they're ready to go, and they're excited to get this bad taste out of their mouth.
That second Detroit game, obviously, after the first one, I know you never want to have a bad night, but does it make it easier to kind of get over it and move on when you've banked up so much good play before that bad night?
Yeah, I mean, it allows you to have confidence for sure. You know, hey, that wasn't us. This is what we're about. So, you know, it's definitely a lot easier now than it was, you know, 2 months ago to be like, hey guys, this is our standard. This is what we're about. So, but these guys, the whole year they've been great. They've come in every day, ready to work, win or loss, and they've been really fun to coach. That's for sure.
Steno, I understand some of it is just simple opportunity, but like through the Rams game, I think Tucker had a total of 2 catches for 5 yards. What beyond opportunity has allowed him to be the guy he's been the last?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, once Luke came out, he became the focal point at that position. But with him, like as the years progressed, he's just taking on a bigger and bigger role every game. And then obviously when Lucas went out, then he kind of ascended into this role, and he's done a great job. Yeah, I'm fired up for him because he's handled everything we've thrown at him and, you know, responded in a great way, and he's got a very, very bright future for sure.
I mean, I know, you know, South Dakota State's a really good program at that level, but is there a different learning curve for guys that are coming up?
I think so. I think there was just, you know, I don't want to say the level of competition to say that they're not great, because they are a great football program, and but I think that had something to do with it, and just basically him and every guy that comes in is at a different level, and it's just you kind of just develop them and keep getting them reps and just keep coaching them up. And Coach Dunn's done a great job with those guys. That whole room is so young, so everyone's just, you know, at a different point, and then now they just keep improving and improving, and yeah, it's fun to watch.
Did you you know that the vertical part of his game was there? Because even if you ask him, he'll say, I'm a check down guy, get yak and,
Yeah.
and all that. I mean, did you know that was there?
Well, he's got good athleticism, good hands, and you know you see his tape in college, and he was making some plays down the field, but yeah, not to that degree. So no, but it's fun. It's fun to find out. That's for sure.
Given the way things have gone for Jones this season, and especially given your situation with Dylan, are you allowing yourself to get your hopes up that you might be able to use him this week?
Yeah, I mean all those guys. We got a plan if we have them or we don't have them. So it's all kind of a wait and see kind of deal that we'll find out kind of as the week progresses. So yes, I'm remaining hopeful that we have all those guys and we're ready to rock.